Good afternoon, everyone. I am Regina Garcia, and Karen Stewart and I are members of the North Carolina Poetry Society External Programs, and we welcome you to this, our NCPS Presents third event in this month. We are actually celebrating Fall Fantastic Ekphratic, and we have done some wonderful things this month. We kicked it off with Marjorie Maddox and her daughter, Annalie Hafer. Marjorie is a wonderful poet and her daughter is a wonderful artist, and they were able to put together an absolutely wonderful book entitled In the Museum of My Daughter's Mind. They came and were able to share with us. Yes, Karen is showing it to you now. They came and were able to share with us their process of how that actually did come together. And so that was really exciting. And then on last week, we were able to go to Emerge, the Emerge Art Gallery, and view the Schwa Show. It was a very inspirational opportunity. We were very thankful to Emerge for allowing us to come in. They actually had Miss Sarah Lazur to give us an overview of the pieces. And we have the opportunity to respond to those pieces poetically. For those of you that did, we will actually be able to have those published on their museum website. So we are really excited about that. And so today we're here, and this is the finale of Fall Fantastic Ekphratic, although we hope that you will keep Ekphratic in your heart all the year long. We are excited to have a vibrant open mic, and I'm going to hand that over to Karen right now, and we're going to kick off this wonderful event. We will make attempts to share the artwork on the screen, so you get the whole feeling, the reading of the poetry and the art as well. So Karen, take it away.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna start out by saying that we have somebody joining us now. Martina McGowan, welcome. You have not missed anything except us trying to get our tech together.
No problem.
And chit-chatting. So welcome, we're glad to have you. We are going to be sharing our original ekphrastic poems today. So it's going to be a great open mic. I think everybody that's here is going to be sharing with us. Would you like to share a poem that you've written, or would you just like to enjoy listening and looking today?
Just here to listen.
Just here to listen. All right, all good.
Well,
all good.
Martina, if you decide to change, if you change your mind, we are very open to it. Martina is fantastic. So, so just let me know, and I can add you to the list if you change your mind.
No worries.
Great.
Thank you.
And Martina, please be sure and check the chat out. There's a bunch of links that we just threw in there.
And we'll add them in at the end because she won't be able to see them.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's true. We'll put those in again. I did want to add for everybody that heard Regina a moment ago, the first program we did in this ekphrastic series that Regina has organized, as she doesn't mention that enough, but thank you so much, Regina, was Marjorie Maddox and her daughter Annalie Hafer sharing their poems and Marjorie's poetry in response to her daughter's artworks. And we have a recording of that Zoom that is linked in the chat. So it's on the North Carolina Facebook's page, but it's fabulous to watch, and lively open mic that happened afterwards.
Because we believe in open mics.
Yeah, we love an open mic.
Yes.
Always and forever.
Yes.
We love it so much, in fact, that we're going to do that right now, right?
That's exactly right. And we're going to kick it off with our very own North Carolina Poetry Society member, Miss Laura Younger.
Well, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna screen share because, of course, I'm one of the outliers who didn't write an ekphrastic poem to the Schwa Show. This is a Frida Kahlo painting. And I'm going to assume you can all see it.
Yes.
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 Okay. The poem is called Broken, after Henry Ford Hospital, 1932, by Frida Kahlo. Hot July night, the pain begins. She is broken. And in the morning, in the ambulance, nothing but loss. No Dieguito. Umbilical red ribbons connect her to everything she cannot create. In the studio, cursing the flies that land on her arm, she paints her pain. A telegram from Cuyoacan. Mother is ill. Su madre está enferma. You are never prepared for your mother to die. Bookended loss, child and mother. She is broken. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Stop
Thank
sharing.
you, Laura. Oh my
you.
goodness.
Yes. So where did you encounter that? Like that painting? Where did you?
It was a PBS show about Frida Kahlo where they were talking about her whole time in Detroit when Diego was painting the mural at the Detroit Institute of Arts, and time in New York, and how much she absolutely hated coming to the States. And then they talked about her miscarriage in that painting, and I just thought, oh, I have to write this. Yeah, I'm obsessed with Frida Kahlo. It's not the only Frida poem I've written, as some of you already know. So
Yes.
yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, Laura. Yeah, Laura and I may have a little fan club
A
going
problem.
for Frida Kahlo. It could be a problem. We might be stalkers. I did want to mention, everybody, please feel free to put in the chat section as these poems are being shared, and comments, any thoughts you have or comments or lines that you loved in the poems. We love to have a lively chat typing going on. Yeah. So thank you, Laura. That was a great kickoff. Whew.
Wonderful.
Lighten up
Always
some
wonderful to
Frida.
start with Frida. Yes.
Yeah. Oof.
Julian, we've got you. Julian had something wonderful happen that I saw, but I can't remember what it is, and he doesn't know.
No, I don't.
It's okay. So this is the wonderful
Oh, my.
thing right here. So this is the wonderful thing. We're excited. Julian,
Okay.
your poem, are you able to share it? To share the screen, or?
I can't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should have done a little bit of but the pieces that are mentioned in this poem
Okay.
are so well known.
Okay.
I probably don't need that.
That's
I
fine.
probably don't need that.
Okay.
This is kind of a meta-ekphrastic poem. It's about an almost religious experience I had at the Museum of Modern Art in New York in 1983. Some of the galleries were closed, and the few who were open were set up for tourists like me. And in one of them, I found myself standing in front of Picasso's Trois Demoiselles d'Avignon for the first time. And this records that experience and perhaps others. It's called Under Construction at the MoMA in 1983. What did Rilke mean? You must change your life. That a dead God speaks through a broken statue? Or that the statue mutilated is the God, absences noted. Here in the MoMA, the issue is simpler. Most of the galleries closed. A rope separates me from the starry night, whose, quote, careful use of line, space, and spiral creates a sense of reckless speed, close quote. It is nonetheless a small canvas. The cypress in the foreground in flames less than observes, a lonely spectator almost outside the rope with me. Van Gogh needed a wall. Nearby, Trois Demoiselles, huge and histrionic, scandalize the room, its neutrality, its spotless temporariness. The heavy brush strokes of their thighs are brass fists. The flat planes of their faces slap the air. What absence teases here? Art Deco furniture, Bauhaus models, an Escher drawing or two return to book. Van Gogh returns to book. Only the body demoiselles disturb the silence. I turn to them, smug, as if to say, be still. We are in charge. See, we have shouted these others down, and nothing will ever be the same. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Is that published? Is that already published?
It's in a little chapbook of mine, which is called Highwire Man. If you would like a copy, you might need to write to me about it, because right now these chapbooks were published at UNT, where I used to work, and for a long time they were not widely available, although they now are. There's a bookstore that has been opened by friends of mine in Fort Worth that has all of them for sale. But if you can't get to Fort Worth, just write to me and I'll see you get a copy.
Can you
Julie,
put your email in the chat for us?
I will sure do so, you bet.
What's the name of the
Please,
bookstore? My daughter lives in Denton, so might be able to get a connection doing that.
Do you live in, your daughter lives in Denton? Who said
Yeah,
that?
she was a graduate student, Laura. She was a graduate student at UNT, archaeology.
I lived in Denton for years and years. I taught at UNT for years and years. My, how nice. Anyway, I'll put my email in the chat. I don't know the name of the bookstore. I know that it's on Central Drive in Bedford, right off the freeway there. But that's as much as I can tell you. Maybe I can do a little research while this is going on and put the name of it in the chat too. But I'll do my email right now.
Thank you so much.
thank you, Julie. And I'm sure that your email, anybody would be more than happy to contact you if they're trying to track your book down.
I'd be happy to sign a copy if you want one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And you guys, please don't be shy about putting in the chat your contact information or a plug for your book and where we can go online to look at it, because we're all about that. We're all poetry lovers, and we gotta prop each other up that way, right?
Christy? We're ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I sent you an email.
Sent who?
You.
Me.
I sent the poem to you, yes.
The poem or the picture?
I sent the poem to you so you would have it later
Oh,
today.
I got you. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't have the picture, but it was in the schwa show.
Okay, which one is it?
Salt Flats.
Salt Flats. Karen, do you have
yeah.
that?
Let me look. Salt Flats. Christy, was that the one with the
The
gal?
woman with the head in the clouds.
Okay. I got her.
I'm not
Maybe you guys
texting
should
them.
put in the chat which image that which of the pieces of art that you've written on, so Karen can quick look for it. I don't know if that helps.
That could be helpful. Anything that might help my tech skills is a good idea.
Yes, I'm not.
All right, let's try this. Let's see. I'm going to click share screen, so there's no telling what's going to actually pop up, but we'll see. Oh, here we go. Is it? Okay.
Here it is.
There we go.
Yes, very
Oh
good.
yeah, there we are.
Yes.
Okay, so this is short. Unspoken thirst. Head in the clouds, but always one eye open. Stained lips holding still. Secrets wrapped in the spill of cornflower blue. wanting to salt the flat of her voice. Thank you.
Oh, my.
Christy.
Thank you. All right.
Oh,
You'll unshare, Karen?
yes, I'm gonna unshare. I'm sorry, I was speechless by looking at the listening to Christy read the poem.
Excellent, excellent.
So nice. Thank you, Christy. Oh, I'm sorry, I was so in awe. I didn't have time to write any comments in about that, Christy, but wow.
Right, right. And
Wow.
it's interesting that that picture actually got when we were there, a lady was there that she's not here today, and she was very moved by that picture as well. That is a very moving picture.
Yeah, very
And
nice.
and your response was as well.
Yeah, love it.
All right, next we're going to Leanne.
And Leanne has a picture for us to look at in the room with her.
Yeah. Can you see that?
We can see the picture.
It's going to be higher. Let me see if I can make it any higher.
Oh no, it's good. We can see it.
It's pretty good, Leanne. I think we can see the whole, we can see all but we
Yes.
can't see the white at the bottom of it, but I think, can everybody see?
Yes.
See all but the, all,
You
yeah.
could pin Leanne.
Yes.
Mhm.
Everybody can see it?
Yes.
Okay. This painting is called Indian Fantasy by Morrison Hartley. Since I live in Chattanooga, it was a little hard to get to Greenville and not too easy to get to Raleigh either.
Mhm.
But I used to be a docent over there, and this is one of my favorite paintings at the museum. So I have their catalog, and it happens to be in color, so I made a copy of it, and it's one I chose to write my poem about. And Morrison Hartley wrote this in 1914. He was in Germany at the time, really had very little understanding about indigenous peoples of this country. Most of the artists at that time, or poets, were writing using African imagery instead of American indigenous peoples. And so he decided to visit the museum in Paris and Berlin for their Indian exhibits. But unfortunately, there was a lot of error in what he was looking at. So this is his interpretation of what American Indian iconography looks like. So anyhow, this is my own interpretation on the Indian fantasy. It's called Balance. Thunderbird protector, a way of life, wings outstretched, retribution in disguise, trapped in a corridor of frantic strife. Shadowed bows and arrows, flames of the past, eyes and talons dive to catch a surprise, Thunderbird protector, a way of life. Faceless figures captured and moving fast, haddock, cod, salmon, fleeing, sympathize, trapped in a corridor of frantic strife. Asters bloom in grit green skies. Must this last? Wings outstretched, ground trembles, internalize. Thunderbird protector, a way of life. Teepees recede, homes to iconoclast. Thunderbird is coming. Hypothesize, trapped in a corridor of frantic strife. If past is prologue, the prologue is past. Talons grip the palimpsest. Humanize, Thunderbird protector, a way of life. Lift layers, Matryoshka baby cast, a woman packs the future. Recognize, Thunderbird protector, a way of life, trapped in a corridor of frantic strife.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
I
Thank
think I saw the war going on between Israel and Gaza too.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was so moving.
Mm.
And the repetition, it's just, oh,
Yes.
I love forms. I love villanelles, and I thought that the form sort of added to the current flowing through the picture.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, removing the pen. Okay. All right.
Next.
Our poetry sister, Anne, coming to the mic. And Miles.
Hi, and can Karen share my picture?
Let me get it. Oh,
I was not in person at the show, but Karen shared the images with me afterwards, and I ended up writing something.
which one did you?
The Remembering Italy. And I am interested, sort of as an aesthetic project, in I'm very interested in ekphrastic poetry, but sort of without describing the image, with a somewhat more slant relationship, though I do think the image is very present in the poem. Just talking to.
And can you tell me again, describe again what I'm looking for?
It's a sculpture of a woman's face.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yes.
Um,
Oh, I've got a side view of her. Let me see if I can get the front on face forward. Oh, here we go. Let me get her on here. Good.
well, maybe oh, there we go. Yes, yay, okay. All right, my poem is called Projector. Remembering Italy in my 30s and childless Aunt Sophie, the former wave who left me money in her will to travel, how I wandered alone in the Jewish quarter through a history I didn't know that was still mine, and one day ate only gelato to soothe my gut and sample as many flavors as I could, wishing I were elegant and lithe. And another day bought a papal blessing for my lover because I thought the Pope should bless more lesbian ex-nuns. Most of the rest, it seems, is scratched and faded as the trip to Paris when I was very young. We ordered marron glacé in the restaurant. I fell asleep on the bateau mouche, or the curve of some Caribbean beach gone nameless that gave me such a pang to think of when we left. How the tiny waves would keep on breaking in my absence, a feeling that would never leave. Or the fishing lodge in Ontario, the starched linen smell of the window dining room with its rolling salad cart, the lawn running down to the mysterious mossy loch, and my parents, middle-aged and happy. I'd look and look, trying to recall what's lost, the present turning blank around me as a sheet tacked up against the living room wall, my mind circling like the old projector, hot as a stove and anchor-heavy green, my father ka-chunked through image after image in his ritual showing of our latest vacation to patient relatives, unable to wrest away my gaze from my palaces, my churches, my ruins.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
You know, like sometimes you get this poem and you're so immersed in your lines are just beautiful, you know, and so I'm trying to keep up with them and I'll just stop because I want to hear you. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I have a book out this summer. I'll drop a, Karen and Earl can vouch for it, at least I can. We'll drop a link in the chat. Thanks very much. This was fun to do.
Oh goodness. Oh, I love your, you know, this is one of the things I love so much about ekphrastic writing is there's infinite approaches to it, right? Like we could have all chosen the same work and nothing even remotely similar in how we respond to it. It's fabulous. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Apologies to any really strict Catholics in there. She was a practicing Catholic in some sense still, which was the criteria. So I wasn't, you know,
All good.
decided
Regina,
it was okay.
I had Donna down as going next, so I think I
That's
might
who I
have a little
had.
different. Is that who you have next?
Yes. She's on the
Okay.
she's pinned.
Oh, she's
Right.
pinned already. Oh,
Yes.
Okay. I sent you the picture on your
Send me
email.
the picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Which picture did you?
I used the one that had all the different shapes. It was an abstract. I think it was one of
Okay.
the only abstracts in there.
Okay.
Greens and
I'm
oranges.
gonna go to, I have the Schwa show pulled. I'm gonna share it. Let me go through.
Let's see if I can find my notes here. I think when the picture
Let me know.
disappeared.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if I can get my
Do you see
evidently
what I'm
when you put
clicking?
the picture up, it removed the poem. So let me see if I can find it.
Okay, which picture is I'm looking through
It's not that one, it's shapes. It's all
the
kinds of
shape. Okay, it's blue. Is it the blue one?
no, it's orange and it's in your email. It's keep going.
That's it? Is that it?
Yes, the one on the
Okay.
left.
I got you.
Whoops,
Okay.
the one on the left. Let me see if I can get my poem back up. When the picture came up, it disappeared.
Okay. Let me
Let's
see.
see if I got a hard copy of
There
it.
we go.
Okay.
Everyone can see that, correct?
that looks great. Looks great, Regina.
Okay, let me get the poem. My husband, I watched that movie. I think it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. This painting reminded me of that movie.
Right.
And it's funny, my husband never could get the title right, and he calls it Everywhere, Anywhere, All the Time. So that's the title of the poem, Everywhere, Anywhere, All the Time. Pieces of our puzzle have sharp edges. Even the curves are hard to navigate. Trying to come together, we fall further apart. A good hammer with a claw foot can fix almost anything, almost. And we are forever trying to fix things, stumbling through shards of we've said or what we wish we had said, trying to put the world we lived in back together after the scatter of battle. We try to create a new language or vocabulary, maybe the right word at the right time will do. But the words are all over the place and lost in the spaces between us.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm amazed at what people are connecting with.
Curious about the title of that picture. I have no idea what the artist's intention was.
Okay.
But I really connected to her picture or his.
What was the title? I just took it down. I'm not looking.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know. Okay. Let me see if I can tell you. Okay. So the title of this is
Oh, you get to use a foreign language.
Ronde de Jambe. Ronde de Jambe. ROND. Ronde de Jambe. Or Jambe. I think it's Jambe, though. Ronde de Jambe by Lottie Hudson. It's acrylic paint and ink on birch wood panel.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much, Donna. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm going to remove your pen. And next we're going to the fabulous Joan.
Joan.
Yes. You're up. You are you able to upload your good. Beautiful.
Okay. This sculpture, which I've loved for many, many years, it's called Quest, and it's in the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. in a central position. It was made in 1910 and it's called Breton Maid. The sculptor was William Sargent Kendall. I know nothing about him. It's wood and paint. And every time I go to that museum, I spend a lot of time looking at this Breton Maid quest after a sculpture by William Sargent Kendall. Face upturned, neck canted, her body's architecture strains towards heaven. Light suffuses the face, though her hands are darkened by age. A slight parting of the lips, a downward gaze, one hand poised to receive. The body, unrestrained in its loose garment, burns with grace.
Beautiful. Burns with grace. What an image.
Oh,
Isn't she beautiful?
Mhm.
yeah. I would be communing with her also.
She looks
Isn't
so
it
life-
so
she looks
lovely?
lifelike, doesn't she? She looks like that's like a photograph.
Right.
But you
Right.
can see the cracks in the wood.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I just think it's so lovely when you find a piece at a gallery or a museum and you're able to revisit it. It's like isn't it just about the happiest thing?
Yeah, it's your friend.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was very moving.
Thank you so
I
much.
felt your connection, Joan,
Yes.
the two of you.
Miss Nancy, you ready? I can't hear you.
Oh, Nancy's muted.
I did. I fixed it. I am ready, but it's hard to follow all these wonderful poems. Oh my gosh. I remember in first grade, y'all, that we would paint a picture or draw one, and then we'd write a sentence about it. Do you remember doing that? And this is what ekphrastic poetry is like for me. So I have one from another gallery that really spoke to me. And this is the picture.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not a pretty.
Oh my goodness.
And if you remember, you might remember this one. So not this time. Forewarned, she let his great wings beat in vain above her kneeling form. Forearmed with grit, she kept her thighs sealed tight against the rain of feathers, seeking claws, the bill that bit, held tight despite the desperate rush of wings. She clasped his struggling body to her breast, gripped his throat, twisted, watched him fling useless webs in empty air, then rest. She'd learned some vital lessons from their past. Brutes are brutes, and even regal swans leave legacies of bruises, broken shells, unwanted knowledge, paint and shame, and last, epiphany that even godlike bond can't entrap lethal Leda in his hell.
Wow.
Wow.
Where you went with that was just wow. Wow. Wow.
Nancy, where is this? This looks so familiar to me.
I know it's somewhere. I think it's in Heron Clan. Could that be where it is? Oh, where the picture is?
Yeah, where is the picture?
I think the picture was in Newbern somewhere. And I saw it in a gallery there.
Oh,
So yeah, it's quite a picture, and I'm gonna stop sharing.
Joan just said triumphant. Yes, that's exactly the word. That's exactly the word I was thinking.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed writing it, but it's not an easy one.
Yeah. And you know what I really do like and am learning about ekphrastic poetry is that it does not have to be stuck to the description. It can be speculative. It can be cross applied to situations, and that's just so much. It's so rich, and there's so much that can be,
The real challenge, Regina, was writing it, encapsulating how I felt in a sonnet. It's very hard to restrict yourself in such a form. But if you're gonna jump off Yeats, you gotta reply to Yeats in form, right? So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I feel that sometimes I'm not a form writer.
Me neither.
I have written in form from time to time, and I think that it keeps me sometimes from just flying off scorching the earth. Sometimes it's necessary to scorch the
I
earth,
get it.
but
I get it. It's discipline, right?
Right,
and,
it is.
And sometimes we need that. And believe me, with explosive subjects, sometimes discipline.
Right. Oh yeah. So Earl says the louder the screaming, the tighter the form needed.
Oh.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute.
Great. All right. Earl, are you ready?
Speaking of Earl.
Yeah, I do not want to follow that.
Okay. Karen.
And I will. No, I will, but I don't want to. But so I'm going to share. Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Karen, can you? Oh, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah. No, that's Earl.
I didn't get a chance to curl. I don't think Earl.
I don't think anyone needs this picture. But just a little story. Years and years and years ago, I was given an assignment by a mentor to write an ekphrastic poem and come back the next day, because I said I don't write ekphrastic poetry, and she's like, go write something. And so I went looking, and I fell down the rabbit hole of all the best poems out there that had been written, and I came across, I think most people are probably familiar with Anne Sexton's response to Van Gogh's Starry Night. And so then I fell into, and I'll send you guys the link after if you want to hear the audio. If you've not heard Anne Sexton read this in her own voice, I was already very influenced by Sexton, but this really solidified her for me. And so I ended up writing a poem called The Starry Night, and the epigraph is for and after Anne Sexton, which is as close to the assignment as I got. The Starry Night. Van Gogh gave up an ear to see those boiling stars, and for a year from the barred window of his asylum sent his anxious eyes beyond that lonely cypress, beyond Ares and Venus, beyond the sleeping village framed in wheat. He gave, as each of us must, what he had to give to madness, just as you did, to return home and put on your mother's old fur coat, take off your rings, and pour vodka into a glass, one last burn to your battered throat before that long nap in the car. I'd like to think you saw the night sky, that outside your window in a palette of blue and gray, the moon swirled in violet orange, and the stars, unmoored, pulsed and rolled back to greet you.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I do recommend listening to her. There's a refrain in her poem, if you remember, which says, "This is how I want to die." She keeps responding to Van Gogh's poem saying, "This is how I want to die," in that deep, gravelly voice of hers. And it affected me in ways that I still can't quite shake.
Right.
Wow. Earl, please do share the link to that. That was breathtaking.
Yes.
Thanks. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Wow.
I'm glad you said you would share.
And you wrote that the day before you had to turn it in? That's amazing.
Well, that's what I came up with.
It's amazing.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Shamala?
Wow.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
there have been too many good poems. I don't know if I dare read particularly a long thing.
You're gonna be great.
Come on, that's silly talk now.
All right. Well, I have been told, so I will just shut up and read. No, that's not right. So this is not a response to any particular piece in the show, but sort of to all the pieces, because I was just looking through all the shots online. So if you want to put something up that's like, I don't know, somewhere like between the third to fifth shot, it's all sort of shots of the room.
Okay, so I'm
and,
gonna go to
That's what I was responding to.
I'm gonna go to maybe this and see what happens. No, that's the JPEG. Where did I put it? Oh my gosh. I'm so
Which room was it in, Shamala? Was it with the sculptures or
Well, it
mostly
would be
the
like
hanging
the
art?
third or fourth, somewhere between pictures number 3 and 5 in the thing, the link that y'all posted with the event.
Mhm.
I could share it, but then I would lose the poem that's on my screen.
Okay. Karen, do you have it?
I just have a crazy scrolling thing going here.
But,
So you're saying it
any
was like
shots a shot of like the one of the rooms with a lot of art
Lot
in
of
it.
the
That
art.
would be
I
fine.
think let's see if this is it.
Because it was sort of responding to all the shots, just the
Yeah,
whole show.
I think I may have something here. Let's see.
Great.
Would that be it?
Yep, that would be
That's
fine.
it?
Yep, any of those would be fine. Any of the ones with it's a room full of stuff. So, okay. So this is called These Pieces of Creation. In a room, dimly awake, they ponder. They cannot move, are locked into their positions. They see each only fragments of the space, of each other. They wonder, who made them? Where did they come from? How found their way here with so many, so strange, others? They each have their myths of origin. One remembers clay, cool dampness, and a unified formlessness, part of all the clay. Then a wrenching, startling lift into light, out of the hole, sudden awakening to life, loneliness, then spinning, dizziness and pressure, a potter's voice, the potter's will, the clay itself submitting, becoming the thing that was willed. There was no other way, no choice. Others whisper of brushes, or the agony of stretching over wooden bars, or spoke of wires twisted in their inside, of gilding, of forges and fire. The list is endless. They look at each other. Surely they cannot all inhabit the same space. They are so different. How to be at peace, share the attention they were created to want, to draw into themselves for their makers. But surely a modern creation full of the latest thought should not be forced to give place to a mere pretty painting someone's old aunt could have perhaps learned to paint by numbers. Conversely, or perhaps the faithfully drawn should not have to listen to self-involved swagger from newfangled nonsense. Who is it put them together, honoring diversity of heart and mind and kind, surely wanting to grow a greater love? Will the curator's will be done? Will the art speak peace and blessing? Sacramental sharing, one to another? The curator prays. The audience drifts by and watches.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that you shared that with us, that you didn't yield to your hesitancy.
Wow. And that was not hideously long as you proclaimed earlier.
Yes, absolutely not. And
That
thank you.
was,
Oh my gosh.
that was all encompassing.
Will the curators will be done?
Well,
I
we're all
think-
praying these days, so
Mm.
you can't help that.
Mm.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And
Thank you.
we are At the point, Martina, have you been moved?
Well, of course I've been moved. It's great.
I'm extending the offer if you would like to. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Okay. Very good.
Fabulous.
I love 100% participation.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Can I share screen?
Yes.
Or I can-
Absolutely. Yes.
I can remember how to share screen.
Yeah. You click the share screen, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
And then, like, if you don't see it, there might be something on your screen. You got it. Okay.
Elegy for Eve, after Ivan Marchuk. In this version, the serpent dons his light, how like a gentle lover he croons, beneath the pale moon, world still birthing, around this child of heaven newly risen, still too young to know that time will change everything, soaking in this new thing, life. So little time before the disaster of knowing comes, before the angels come barring the door to a brighter world, where apples fall to earth unpoisoned, uncursed, and I, Eve, am still your beloved child.
Oh, I'm so glad you shared.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Oh, thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
goodness. Yeah. Martina, do most of you know who Martina is? Martina is poetry editor for the Elevation Review. She is Dr. Martina McGowan. And I've had the privilege of getting to know her in a few of our group. She's often with Cultivating Voices, and I've seen her at many other places. That's just the one that's popped in my head. But I just want to thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you. I was happy I came across it. Thank you.
Martina, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. And would you grace us with a link in the chat section to your the journal that you're working with?
I can do the journal, or I can do the books. The books are easier.
Great. That would be great. Thank you.
I Am the Rage. That's the one I did. That's the name of a book. That's the name of one of her books. I Am the Rage.
Wow.
That's the first book, and my second book comes out in February.
Oh, we'll need to be talking.
Okay.
Make a note, Regina.
I will. Okay, so we're down to Karen and Regina.
Well, that's a little sad.
I feel as if I should let Karen end it on this.
Oh, oh, you want me to go last?
Yeah, you can go last.
Oh,
but yeah, okay. I actually I was sitting here. I wrote 2 poems, and I was just sitting here trying to figure out which one I wanted to do. I wrote one for the monkey types Hamlet, and but I also became drawn to one of the other pieces that I wasn't, while I was in the museum, initially drawn to, but when I was looking back through, I just kind of became captivated by it. So since I'm talking so much about it, then maybe that's the one I should share.
I'm feeling that, Regina.
Feeling that. Okay. So let me. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if I have a picture of that. Karen, can you go to Memento Mori Centerpiece?
Memento Mori. Give me some more to go on than that.
MEMENTO. Memento Mori, MORI. Centerpiece.
Let's see.
It is the skull.
That did not work as I had planned. Okay, let me just look for it. Oh, I know the work that you're talking about. Let me just flip through till I find it. I found it.
Great. Hold on. Let me pin myself. Okay. There we go. So you all can see my fascinating.
I believe this is it. Okay, hang on. I'm going to work on my mad Zoom skills before we do this again. I promise. Is that it, Regina?
That's it.
All right.
That's it. Memento Mori centerpiece by Scott Eagle, and this is a found object assemblage. The title, Remember What You Must Do. Remember that you must die, and you must live as long as you can. As well as I can, my grandmother would say when asked how she was doing, even as she closed in on an end that she could almost see, one that would soon come. Towards that end, she read the newspaper faithfully for news of those she'd known along the way, found them in obituaries, and reminisced about how and where she knew them as much as she could. Yet, what would she say of this? She who had grown up so closely connected to the earth, having seen people live and love and struggle and fall and die as well as they could. She believed in living as well as she could, and then finding herself and all left before her in a sweeter by and by. Told us to do the same, for she knew that corruptible flesh would pass away, just as it has here. So what would she think of this here? Alas, see here this lonely skull lying, the essence of his eyes fixed on, well, my grandmother would have said Jesus. It is amazing to think of the bony remnants of this unfleshed found face, ghost eyes fixed, life springing out and up and through, twisting out of this host's mouth towards the heavens, head couched in foliage, vegetation assembled, held in the limbs of a world that needed flesh atrophied to feed itself as well as it could. The world eats its kind, and the kind in turn eats this world as well as it can, for as long as it can. And what of the spirit and the soul? They are swept up and away when they have done all that it can, vines and limbs ever climbing, pointing perhaps to something greater, something that will hold them even longer than we ourselves ever could. That's that.
Holy cow, Regina. Oh my great goodness.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. So that one did not speak to you loudly when you were in the gallery.
It did not. It did
Isn't
not.
that
It didn't. I was so fixed on the monkey types Hamlet, which I also wrote a poem for, but I won't share that today. But yeah, I was so fixed on that I just and I was fixed on what I know that you ended up writing, but when I started to write it, it just it didn't quite, it wasn't speaking to me in the same way. And so yeah, but I just, and something, I don't know what drew me back to it, but that's what drew me back to it.
Well, I'm glad you were drawn back to it.
And see, look, the fall, I don't even talk about it until like the middle of the poem. I talk about what it evoked in me. And so I want to believe that I'm going to go with ekphrastic slant, it maybe it doesn't have to be all description. It doesn't. It is,
No, it definitely doesn't.
Right.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about ekphrastic is it's the connection that you make with the work. It's the work itself, but it's also the connection and how it affects you and where you go with it. That's what I think.
Earl is saying it just has to be inspired by. That's right.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Karen, close us out. You ready?
I think so. I think I'm gonna share screen. Maybe I'm getting the hang of it by now. We'll see.
You're doing well.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. All right. This.
Mm.
This spoke to me in the gallery, and then I practically grilled poor Sarah to get information on it. And let me see if I can get.
I think if you click, like if you just click on the picture, you see the little. If you just
Oh,
click.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is Symphony No. 9, Portrait of Ludwig van Beethoven by Michael Klauck. And it's probably 2 or 3 feet. It's fairly large. It's on paper. It's pencil and ink on paper. It's a portrait. And this is his original work. And let's see if I'm not trying to make y'all crazy, but maybe you can see the whole portrait is, and I totally geeked out on it after I became obsessed with it. What I believe that he did is sketched his portrait, and then I believe that he may have sketched some straight lines across it. And then what Sarah told us is that the artist listened to the symphony over and over and over and free wrote in response to it on this paper. And everything that you see are the letters of the words. The letters are literally like the size smaller than a green pea. And it's not so. And then he went back and shaded. He went over some of the letters in pencil again, and then some of them he went over in ink. So that is just, it blew my mind, his stream of consciousness on there. And they're so tiny, and I don't know. Here's my poem. This work is haunting me. So this is Emerging from the Schwa Show. This is sorcery, transcending centuries. Your incantation penciled in and inked as homage, in translation channeled through 200 years. The lines you have written sing, but are not song itself. They sail the seas of paper, barely contained, unconstrained by framing, ebbing and flowing from pencil gray to inky black and back, again. You listened, heard, embraced, translated, incantated, shared the spell. As you received it, you divined it, channeling it onto paper. Symphony No. 9, Portrait of Ludwig van Beethoven by Michael Klauck. You have entranced me, perchanced me to dream merrily down your stream of consciousness, writing, drawing me in. I'm going to tell y'all, I can't stop thinking about this artwork.
Perchance me to dream. It perchanced you to dream.
It has perchanced me to dream a lot.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, I would say, I'm often moved by music, the concept of music, I just think music and the word and poetry, the written word, is just so intrinsically linked. So I was excited to hear what you were going to say about symphony.
I went deep down a rabbit hole with this one.
Yeah. Nancy said amazing flow from music to art to word to poetry. Yes.
I can't stop thinking about the artist making that piece of art. It's just and to see it up close. I mean, I wish we could all see it. I literally was holding my breath because I was like 2 inches from it in the gallery. I'm like, I want to crawl in under the glass, and like, I couldn't believe it. It's just, yeah. But isn't that the great thing about art? Like, you just take it and it just comes into you, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ekphrasis.
Ekphrasis. Yes.
I think we should all just like chat for a minute with our mics all open. Is that just
Yes.
horrible? I think that's a great idea. Let's do
Yes,
that.
open your mic and give
Open your
yourself a
mics,
hand.
y'all.
Yay. Thank you. I just am so pleased. Everybody that was supposed to be here is here. I always feel that whoever's in the room is who's supposed to be in the room.
All the cool kids are here.
Huh? All the cool kids.
All the cool kids are here.
I
And
think that's the first time I was ever a cool kid. Thanks.
you know, the poets have to affirm themselves.
That's right.
Because rarely are we called the cool kids, right? So,
That's right.
but we are the cool kids, and I believe that we are the ones that will save us all. So
This is true. We are legends in our own minds and
Right.
hearts.
right,
I gotta say that artists love it as much as poets love it, because like I live in Fuquay, which is small, and they have a little tiny gallery where they have art classes. But I went in to talk to the artists and told them about ekphrastic poetry and that I knew poets who would write about their pictures. You should have seen them bloom. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like new life to the artist too, to have somebody look at the painting that carefully. I don't know that we always realize that. It's a gift.
yeah. You know, and I think all of us, you know, want to know that what we do is appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah, and that you're making a connection, that it's connecting with somebody.
Right.
And I think even it doesn't have to be about like even with a poem, it's like I wrote the poem because I'm channeling something. And if you do something completely different with it, I'm tickled. I'm like, success.
Right.
I don't even care if you get where I was going, as long as you went somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I think that must be, to be an artist and having poets write in response to your work has got to just be, I think it's great.
Yeah, like poets, they work in isolation. So any connection's got to be a blessing of some kind.
Yep.
And so do artists.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it's a reaching out. Like we're all doing you can think, well, I'm just writing it down but you're reaching out if you're writing it down. You are sending it out
Into the universe.
Into the universe to be received in whatever way.
You know, I will say though, I think that sometimes, all of us have these different processes, and sometimes we don't even realize, when the poem actually starts. Sometimes the poem starts in a conversation I'm having with someone, and it triggers something, and then it becomes something. Now I'm recognizing that I'm probably a poet that is unlike many other poets. I'm not an introvert.
What?
I'm not either.
What?
I see you there, Regina. I see you.
You see me? Earl and I, we're on another plane.
Regina, own it. Own it.
Own it. Yes. So yeah, I was of course in my poetry journey, I began as soon as I got a poetry book. My mother, I'll tell this story sometimes about my first poetry book was a book given to me by my mother called Little Brown Baby by Paul Laurence Dunbar. And so I got that book, and almost immediately, as I was reading it out loud, and then I was performing it out loud, because it had to, I had to have breath, I had to give it breath. So, and that's kind of sometimes, although as I have gotten older and, life changes, the ideas come to me quietly a little more often now in the mornings between that sleep and wake period, yeah. Anyway, well, anybody have any more comments, any more questions, any
words of wisdom,
We'd
random
like to
ramblings?
see, and I think this is a good thing to ask, as this is an event sponsored by North Carolina Poetry Society. are there subjects that you would like to see us take on in regards to programming as it relates to poetry? Anybody have any ideas about the kinds of workshops you might like to see?
Or
Talking to
events.
somebody today about how hard it is to put a collection together and what to put first, in the middle, what to bury because it's not as good, what to end.
Right.
Yes, please, let's have that conversation. That would
Yes,
be really
that would be a
That's an
great
important one.
That's
workshop.
a great one. That is a great one.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think you're supposed to take those out.
The ones that need
I don't
burying,
wanna
they
get
should
to
just go.
80 pages. No.
There you go.
Right. Okay. Any other? That's a really good one. Oh, that's a
I
good
love that idea. Okay, so I'm going to throw out, I would love to see that with several different poets who have put different collections together addressing the same questions.
Okay.
Collections
And
Oh
of
yeah,
because
get a
different lengths,
panel.
too.
Yeah, a
That
panel.
sounds
A
like a
panel
panel.
would be
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
There's
I see some-
several, yeah, there's several excellent books that have just come out in the past year about with multiple perspectives on assembling poetry collections. So the, complexity and many, many valid approaches to
Yeah.
that is, very much
It's
on the
probably
table.
endless, but it would be that would be a great conversation to be in on.
Right.
Yeah.
Would
Maybe
be interesting to talk about collections of different lengths too, because a chapbook is a different object than a full-length collection, and
Very
needs to
different.
be thought about differently. So
So yeah, okay.
about 5 years ago, the Poetry Society put together a workshop on the panel was past Lena Scholl winners. And it was about just this,
Oh, okay.
how to put together a collection. It was at the Chapel Hill Library, and it was very well attended.
Okay.
Okay, well, we need to do a rerun version and have it Zoomable, I think, since that
Yes.
seems to be a great way to have a wide reach.
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of requests from members.
Yeah.
and if the Zoom goes on the North Carolina Poetry Society YouTube channel or something,
It does.
then
Yeah.
it has a long life to it.
Yeah.
And we have I set up an NCPS it was a little, what is it, a Google Suite just for the things that we do like this, that the
Mhm.
external programs committee does like this. And so for example, all of the virtual events we've had before are stored on that site. And this one will go on that site as well. Now I do upload to Facebook, so it's there. It's not a YouTube because I like for it to kind
Privacy.
of, yeah. Right. Okay. All right, but I'll make sure that you all get that. Okay. All right. Anything else?
I just want to say thank y'all for coming and sharing and writing and just thank you. This has been fabulous.
Ekphraticizing.
Thank you for ekphraticizing. Yes, thank you, Laura. Thank you for
I put this in the
ekphraticizing.
chat, but there's several there's a couple, there's not a lot, but there's a couple journals that really specialize in ekphrasis, and that folks should, some of these, you guys may want to send them out if they haven't already been published.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And I did want to remind everybody to be sure to save the chat.
Right.
Yeah, which you can do by clicking your three little buttons.
At the
The three dots.
at the bottom of the chat, and then click it. And
Yeah, if you click
okay.
in your chat section, you should have three little buttons somewhere. Usually at the bottom, yeah. And then you can click Save Chat.
All right.
Laura's waving.
Oh,
Laura's waving. Okay.
Gotta go.
All right.
This was
Bye,
fun.
Laura.
Bye.
Thank you all for
Bye, guys.
and we'll see you.
Bye, Julia.
Bye.
Thank you all so much. This was
Thank you.
food for the soul.